potato.
There are two ways to look at the new Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. As a welcome redesign and a fresh take on a rather dull shell, or a ruggedly handsome attempt gone sideways and looking like a project down in haste instead. The Galaxy S21 Ultra is remarkably successful in pulling the sleek, industrial look, we'd give it that, while its front is entirely screen, like on all recent Galaxies. The frame and the back are different. See, Samsung made the aluminum frame wider, and the rear panel now has shorter curves. Then there is the glass back, which is now matte. And we love the frosted feeling we get while touching it. It's awfully slippery, yet thoroughly enjoyable. Samsung has kept the best screen exclusive to the Galaxy S21 Ultra. It is the only in the S21 trio to offer a 144 OP screen, while the rest of the S21 were somewhat demoted with regular 108 OP screens. All of them support adaptive 120Hz refresh rate at the native resolutions, including the Ultra, which is a first for Samsung. The Galaxy S21 Ultra features a 6.8 dynamic AMOLED 2X screen of 440 by 3200 pixels or 515 ppi. The S20 Ultra had a 6.9 display, but the difference is quite negligible. The panel is protected by a Gorilla Glass Victus piece. The screen supports adaptive refresh rate, and it can go as high as 120 Hz or drop as low as 10 Hz when necessary. It is supposed to be the brightest one, too, with a peak brightness of 1500 nits. Do not get your hopes too high, though. That number is for HDR video playback and can't be achieved when lighting up the entire screen. Speaking about HDR, the S21 Ultra supports HDR10+ and naturally, it can play the highest definition content across all popular services. In our display test, we measured a very good maximum brightness of 458 nits when placed under bright light. The S21 Ultra boosts the screen brightness up to 1023 nits. This new screen also features a Wacom sensor layer. For S Pen support, the Ultra has no stylus socket, but you can get a case that allows you to holster one along with the phone. There is a small punch hole for the big 4MP selfie camera, just like on the S20 generation and the rest of the S21 series. Above the screen is the earpiece behind a barely noticeable grill. This is also one of the two stereo speakers. The back Gorilla piece has a matte finish, and it looks marvelous and feels lovely when touched. It is as slippery as the S20 Ultra's glossy back but is far less prone to fingerprints. Even after a day of use, the back looks relatively clean. Then there is the new Ultra Quad camera, sitting at the top of a metal mountain. The first column contains the 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera, the 108-megapixel primary and the 10-megapixel 10x telephoto. The second one has the laser AF tech, the LED flash, and the 10-megapixel 3x snapper. The whole piece seems somewhat fitting the design, as if the phone had been one big solid block before the camera island was chiseled out. We'd leave for you to decide whether that's cool or not. The Galaxy S21 Ultra is powered by a 5000 mAh battery, the same as the S20 Ultras. Its screen is a bit more demanding as it supports HDR over the native resolution. But the S21 Ultra also features newer and more efficient hardware, so we hope to get a somewhat similar numbers as S20 Ultras. The Galaxy S21 Ultra managed to surprise us big time. The total endurance rating of the new Ultra is 114 hours, while the standalone test results read as follows: 35+ hours on call, 15 hours on web browsing, and 18 hours on video playback. The Galaxy S21 Ultra may be the cream of the crop, but it still won't offer you a charger. You need to buy one. If you don't have a USB-C charger at home, the supplied USB-C to C cable assumes you're going to have a USB PD adapter, or one of the later quick charge for cross-standards units. If you have an older charger, let's hope you also have a USB to C cable as well. The good news is that Samsung is throwing a free charger on many of its pre-order campaigns. Carriers across the world are doing the same thing. They also did that with Apple's iPhone 12 series. The Galaxy S21 Ultra supports USB power delivery with PPS on top for up to 205 of power. The 405 charging capability from the older flagship generation is not supported. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra has one of the most versatile camera setups available to date, and hardware that's worthy of the Ultra moniker, unlike the Galaxy S20 Ultra. The S21 Ultra offers to telephoto snappers for proper 3x and 10x optical zooms, with no trickery involved. The primary camera uses Samsung's latest 108MP ISOs LHM31 1.33 sensor with 12,000 x 9,000 pixel grid and 0.8 micrometers pitch. Smart ISO Pro is an HDR technology that captures one high ISO, along with one low ISO shot simultaneously, as both are captured simultaneously. This avoids the ghosting of moving objects that is a problem for sequential HDR. That's 12 bits per channel, meaning the raw image contains 64 times more color information than a 10-bit image. The ultra-wide-angle module is apparently the same as on the S20 and Note 20, but unlike the last generation of flagships, the S21 Ultra does offer autofocus on this camera, and it can take close-ups. The first zoom camera uses 10 megapixel 3.2 for sensor, with 1.22 micrometers coupled with 70mm f2.4 lens, stabilized. It supports dual pixel PDAF and offers 3x optical zoom. The second zoom camera has the same 10 megapixel 3.2 for sensor, with 1.22 micrometers, but this one sits behind a periscopic 240mm f4.90 IS lens. Dual pixel PDAF is available, too, and with this one, you can do 10x optical zoom. Overall on the front, we are getting the same selfie camera that premiered on the S20 Ultra, a 40 megapixel quad bare shooter. Its pixels are tiny at 0.7 micrometers each, but group 4 of them together. And we are getting a 1.4 micrometers pitch. The 25mm equivalent lens is just wide enough, and decently bright at f2.2, and it has autofocus. The S21 Ultra's viewfinder can show you live images from all 4 cameras at once, so you can pick and switch which one to use for recording. The processors in both chips have a tri-cluster arrangement, and use the same core as Qualcomm is said to have tweaked things in the Prime core. Headlining these processors is ARM's Cortex-X1, a no-compromise performance-focused design based on the Cortex-A78. Next up is a trio of Cortex-A78s, regular ones, while for Cortex-A55s for more mundane tasks take the total core count to 8. The Exynos 2100+ and Mali G7 GPU with 14 cores,
and 12 gigs of RAM,
and promises 46% improvement over the last generation.
The Ultra does a nice
the GPU in the Kirin 9000 has the same Mali GPU, but in a maxed out 24-core configuration, though probably at a lower clock rate. Both the SDA88 and A210 are manufactured by Samsung on a 5nm fabrication line. Qualcomm switched from TSMC to Korean foundries. For this year's chips production, there is 12GB LPDDR5 RAM on either version. If you think that'd be insufficient, you can also get the largest storage model, which employs a whopping 16GB RAM. Storage is always UFS 3.1, and 3 options are available: 128GB, 256GB, or 512GB. Our Galaxy S21 Ultra review unit has the Exynos chipset inside, and has 256GB of storage and 12GB RAM. Geekbench is a CPU benchmark, and it puts the single-core Cortex-X1 core on top of every other Android phone we've tested to date, better than the Cortex-A77 inside the Huawei Mate 40 Pro.
To unlock your phone.